So here we go, the Week 5 week recap. We're going to see the standings, the league leaders, and a little bit about our opinion about the playoffs. Well, actually, my opinion. I'm the only one here in Chiang Mai. So here we go. This is going to be the teams in the standings, Group A. And Buffalo Bills are 5-0. You take a look. They won all 5 games by combined 40 points. They beat the Chargers, Green Bay. That was a big victory here. That was our broadcast. They beat 75 Steelers, 81 San Diego Chargers, 62 Dallas. 3 of the 5, I think, were really big wins. But they're 5-0. Houston is 4-1. I mean, they haven't beaten a biggie yet. They lost to Tampa Bay 30-6. But, you know, that's the thing. The Philadelphia Eagles very disappointing in the top 4, rounds out with Detroit. Group B, the Chicago Bears at 4-1. They lost to the 53 Detroit Lions. A huge upset there. The 53 Detroit Lions were in Group A and making it 2-1. Group B, though, they're 4-1. The Jacksonville and Indianapolis, both 3-2. And the LA Raiders at 2-1. Everybody else 2-3. San Diego 1-3-1 and Cleveland 1-4. Group C. The Baltimore Colts in 1968, they're 4-1. 2000 Baltimore is 4-1. Tampa Bay 3-1-1. Baltimore lost to Philadelphia 1960, a big upset there. But they beat the New England Patriots, the 78 Steelers, and 95 Dallas. And the New England Patriots, I'm telling you, the 85 New England Patriots, this is a tough freaking team. This is a tough team. And you take a look at the next few. San Diego they should have. Kansas City they should have. They should be 6-1 and looking to roll. This is a very good football team. Could be one of the top seeds. The top 4 round out with the 04 Patriots. Denver at 2-1-2 and San Diego 2-1. Very good teams. So Dallas of 95, Miami of 84. Very disappointing. Group D, the New York Giants 4-0-1. They tied the Jets. The Jets are doing all of a sudden really awesome. But they beat New England 17-13. They beat the 14 Patriots by 1, the 04 Patriots by 2, and the New York Giants Derby of 07, the team that beat the Patriots 30-15. They're looking solid. They beat some really good football teams there. And they are 4-0-1, the 78 Steelers again. And the 78 beat New England Patriots. They kill Kansas City. They beat 96 Green Bay. There's some good teams there, but they lose to 68 Baltimore 25-3. That's the big one. The top 4, Detroit rounds it out. New York at 2-1-2. They are 5th, so they want to start doing what they need to do. Group B, the New Orleans Saints, a great defense. They beat Miami 34-10. Oakland, Baltimore 28-20. They beat Buffalo, the old timers. They only lost to Houston by a point, and they should have had that one, but they didn't. They could have been 5-0 very easy. Dallas, on the other hand, well, just a lot of losses there. They have a hard time scoring, but they've increased their scoring every game. Taking a look, the 95 Steelers are 2-3. You take a look, 3-2 is the thing, so the Steelers could tie it up. Who knows? Group F, Carolina's 3-0-2. They're leading the division. Cincinnati, a very, very good Cincinnati Bengals team. They tied. They beat a very good Raiders team, a very good Indianapolis team. This Carolina team's good. Cam Newton is playing good football. And the 81 49ers, they won. They're close games, but you know what? They win them, and that's all that counts. The 88 Bengals, they're 3-1-1. The division, they're 1-0-1. The 89 San Francisco 49ers, if you put them in a 4th seed tournament, they're going to be one of the 2 teams. I just feel that. The 98 Minnesota Vikings are 3-2. Those are 2 teams. I'll tell you what, this is a stacked division. The 89 49ers lost to San Francisco of today, 31-13. They lost to Denver, an upset, but they beat Pittsburgh, Washington, and San Francisco at 94. So they're a good team. They should start rolling victories here, looking at their schedule. Group G, New England Patriots 3-2. This is one division where everybody, well, it's up for grabs. The 75 Steelers are coming back. They started off 1-2. They beat Philadelphia and they beat Denver, and that is very big there. The 1999 St. Louis Rams just lost by a point to San Francisco, or else they'd be 3-1-1 and winning this conference. So by a point, they're not doing it. Oakland, Philadelphia are there. Everybody's still in it, even the 79 Rams, who beat New York 27-17, and they haven't been the greatest. 7 points in the last 2 games. Group H, Denver 4-0-1. They beat San Francisco today. The Steelers, Washington. They tied Denver, who beat the 49ers of 1989. And the Chicago Bears 25-20. They're 4-0-1. They're looking good. The fourth place team, the San Diego Chargers, at 2-1-2. They just lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in 1981. They had 2 ties in a row. And right now, they're all right. They're hanging in there. $92, such a disappointment. 64 Bills. Hey, who knows? We got to see how that goes. At 3-2, the 07 Giants would be out of it. Group I, Cincinnati at 4-1, 1981. They have 4 out of 5. They're very good. Only loss was to 69 Minnesota. They got blown out. We had that game, but they beat Cleveland, Atlanta, who's a solid team. They beat San Diego 34-20. And they beat New England of 0-1, 15-10. So solid victories. Not the greatest in the world. But Green Bay, on the other hand, won the Green Bay Derby big. They beat Kansas City. They beat Pittsburgh. And they beat a winless Philadelphia team. So they're up there. Atlanta looking good. 76 Oakland. Boy, 2-2-1. The New York Jets, they've won. They start off 0-2. Not that great. They came back against Oakland. They beat Miami 14-8, low scoring. They tied New York Giants. And they blew out Washington. Who knows? They might just be getting hot. Group J. And this is the last one, the Baltimore Colts. Lead of 1958. This is incredible. They tied San Diego. They lost to Cleveland. But they beat Atlanta, beat Baltimore in the Derby, and they beat the Redskins, a Super Bowl winning team. 1986 Cleveland, losing to Cincinnati and Atlanta. Atlanta, a team that should have won the Super Bowl. But they beat Seattle, and that's a heck of a good team. They beat Philadelphia, not very good, and they beat Baltimore in 1958. They beat Baltimore in 1958. Who's ahead of them? They're Baltimore's only loss. So as you take a look, New York is there in 1981 and 84 San Francisco. Right now we're out of the mix at 3-2. You take the top 4 teams and we take them how they're ranked here. And right now, as we see that they're ranked, it is just, oh my goodness, it is... well, let's put it this way. It is a surprise, but San Francisco is 3-2. 84 is 2-3. That's only 5 games in. 6 games in. It's so a third of the way through the season. There's still a lot more games to go. 85 New England. They won at Kansas City big, and they lost to Baltimore close, but then they lost to Green Bay, Carolina big, and New York big. They're starting to fall off the slide. When you take a look at league leaders, here we go. This is individual league leaders. Kerry Collins leading with the amount of yardage. The touchdown passes is Steve Young with 15. And the quarterback rating is Dan Fouts. Look at Dan Fouts. Unbelievable. If they go, San Diego can start doing what they need to do. San Diego can be very dangerous. They can be very dangerous. But right now you got Phil Simms, Joe Montana. You got Peyton Manning. You got a lot of good players. And Peyton Manning of 06 Indianapolis still with no interceptions. The same with Randall Cunningham with 7. The worst quarterbacks, now Len Dawson. Graham Greasy for Miami, 36 of 82. He only completed 5 in our broadcast that we had. As you take a look down, Vince Ferragamo. And out of the mix is Terry Bradshaw. Remember, Bradshaw was the lowest rated quarterback, but he's had a great 2 weeks. And that has been very good. In rushing, the amount of yards is Marion Motley for Cleveland. Still the leading rusher in 1950 Cleveland with 623 yards. The biggest average is going to be Banks, the halfback for Jacksonville. The biggest number of touchdowns is, again, Marion Motley, 5. Motley, Davis, Morris. Gore, Frank Gore, who's played forever. I think he's still playing this year. And James from Arizona, the fullback, with 5. Harris and Parker, the next 2, both Steelers. Receiving-wise, wait a second, fumbles. The fumblers, Horschemeyer, Craig, Roger Craig, that's the biggest one, and Jones for Chicago. When you take a look at receiving, number of receptions, Freeman, Antonio Freeman, he has receptions. Yards is Amani Toomer. The average is Holmes, Antonio Holmes. He leads the average touchdowns is Doak Walker and Dolbin from Denver. And the longest touchdown is still Brett Perriman, 89 yards for the score. Total offense and total yards is Emmitt Smith for $92. He's very much the person that is relied on the most. Touchdown 6. Look at this. Walker Davis score, Pittman, Morris, Dolben, and Washington. You can pause it if you want to see all of them. Defense, Horn and Gerald Hayes from the University of Pittsburgh. That's Gerald Hayes. And they both have 60. Sacks, Lalo Zato has 9 sacks in 5 games. He is on a tear. Hilton has 8 in 5 games for Baltimore. Edwards has 7, Owens has 7, and Brown has 7. There are some really, really good players here. Interceptions, a ton have 3. You can pause it if you want to take a look. Fumble recoveries, Bonaconi and White, and defensive touchdowns, we still don't have anybody with 2. The kicker, the most attempts is Stover. The most made is Stover. The highest percentage, though, is you now have less. You have your Perman, Captain Hook, Gold, Benershka, Rolf Benershka, Aldel Greco for Tennessee, Hauschka, Graham, Bryant, and Goskowski. Who will be the first to miss? That's big. The worst one is Turner. Jim Turner, 3 of 8 for the Jets. Oh my goodness, he's averaging less than 2 attempts a game, no wonder. David Akers for the 49ers, Knight, Clark, Booker, and then everybody else is over 50%. The longest one is still 62 by Elliott of Philadelphia. And the most points, 66 by Stover, by far over Gary Anderson. That is big. The punter, the number of punts, is Clark by the Rams of 42 and full hedge for Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 4-1, and in 5 games they're averaging 8 punts a game. That's pretty unique. The best average is Tom Ruin of Denver, and the longest one is 68 by Green of Chicago. The worst average is Hansen for New England. Was 28, and he's hitting 36.4. Helton, 36.8. And Wilson is 36.9. Most blocked, you have 5 with 2. Full hedge, Cox, Goodburn, Ryan, and Smith. And inside the 20-yard line, full hedge, Ken Penham, man. That means that they're getting to midfield. He is averaging about 6 punts a game that he hits in the 20-yard line. That's incredible. Kick returns, Ricardo Coakley the most. The biggest number of yards, Preston Pearson. The average is Preston Pearson. The longest, 100 by 2 players, Lawrence and Smart. And the touchdowns, Gerald McNeil. Gerald McNeil out of 86 Cleveland. He has 3. That could be big whenever you go to the playoffs. Punt returns, there you go, Drury. And here comes Devin Hester, the most amount of yards. The average is Mel Gray, who's the best. The longest is Henry from Philadelphia, and a touchdown still with Mel Gray. Now the team stats. Let's take a look at total offense. Whenever we take a look at total offense, we're going to take a look at rushing yards. Miami, over 1,000 for 5 games. They had 300 in their last one against the 77 Cowboys. The best passing yards are the New York Giants. Unbelievable. The New York Giants, they're something if they get to the playoffs. The total, the Philadelphia Eagles of 04 have the most yards total of anybody. And the Seattle Seahawks, well, they don't have it anymore. The 94 49ers with the touchdown and a number of points by 1 for the 49ers. They beat the 99 Rams by a point. And they now have the lead in total offense. Total defense, the rushing yards, look at Baltimore, Chicago, Minnesota, the Giants, and surprisingly, San Francisco. Look at this, though. That's unbelievable. 5 really good defenses. Passing yards, you have 06 Chargers. Very, very good. Seattle, Baltimore, New Orleans, and Miami. And then we go to the total defense. And the total defense, you have Miami, who's number 1. Then you have Chicago and New Orleans, who's still holding in there. Seattle and Tampa Bay, we know. And then the Houston Oilers at 6. That is really big. And the Los Angeles Rams, who knows? The least number of points, Miami was 64 over 5 games. A little over 10 a game. Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and the Jets. Green Bay holding in there. The most number of sacks, very easy, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then you have the Giants and Baltimore tied For second, interceptions, Washington and Buffalo. But it's the 82 Redskins and the 64 Buffalo Bills. And the number of fumble recoveries, the 96 Patriots. So, we're going to have, that is it. We're going to take a look at week number 6. And when you take a look at the Buffalo Bills at 5-0, and week number, actually, let's go to week 5. The achievements, taking a look at everything that you have. Buffalo, a touchdown in 5 straight games and a turnover in 4. We're just going to go through here. Offense scored a touchdown 5 straight games. No big deal. Theismann broke 1,000 yards. The Houston Oilers broke their offensive streak. Schaub is 1,000 yards. Look at Pittsburgh. That's Neil O'Donnell, 5 straight games with a touchdown. Pegram, 103 yards rushing. Thigpen, all those records. Look at that, but his touchdown streak ended at 4. Jacksonville, good. Oakland is starved. New England looking good. Oakland again, 5 straight. Detroit, Bobby Lane over 1,000 yards. That's very good. In 5 games, that's over 200 a game. A lot of these people should be over. Chicago, very good. Washington, very good. That team in 72 was good. They just got overshadowed because of what happened. The Oakland Raiders, they're getting out of their streak. Their offensive touchdown drought ended. 76 Oakland looking good. Look at San Diego. They're really going 332 yards for Fouts, and they're picking it up. And as you take a look, Williams, the 1,000-yard club. Dallas not doing great, but Aikman is there also, and same with Trent Dilfer. Barry Sanders, 132 yards rushing. Brent Perriman, what a season he's having. The Steelers didn't get a turnover their last game, but Bradshaw had 333 yards passing. He's doing a heck of a lot better. Remember, he was 2 of the top 6 worst quarterbacks after week 2, and now he's incredible. Peyton Manning, he's doing very well, but he just broke 1,000 this week. We thought he would do it in 3 games. It took him a while because of the team makeup and who they were playing. Kansas City, Mahomes is over 1,000. That's a team that's going on right now. Rivers is over 1,000. New York at 56 is struggling. And the 51 Rams, though, Norm Van Brocklin, 5 straight games. That's surprising me. That's surprising. New Orleans, you take a look. New Orleans is incredible. Drew Brees is throwing 161 passes without an interception. That's incredible. Now the Baltimore Colts, Earl Morrall. Oh my goodness. Earl broke 1,000 yards. Tom Matty broke 500 rushing. John Elway with that Denver team with the gigantic upset of the 89 49ers. What a game that was. And we didn't broadcast that to you, but oh well. The Philadelphia Eagles looking good, and Green Bay is also. Carolina, solid. The 49ers, Jerry Rice over 500 yards. Kurt Warner finally broke 1,000 yards. They don't let him throw, and I don't understand about that. I really don't understand that. The Steelers caused a turnover in 5 straight games. That's big. I really don't understand. Houston's defense is looking good. Why they're not allowing Kurt Warner to throw. And once he starts throwing, they're going to be dangerous. Cincinnati, 3 games without a turnover. Cincinnati of 81. Both Cincinnati teams looking very, very good. Who knows? Maybe a Bengals championship and a Bengals championship and a Reds championship. Remember, Reds in the Champions League, that's going to be very big. The Dallas Cowboys again looking. Dallas Cowboys is 77. They didn't get a turnover last game. Look at Miami. Miami is, oh my goodness, Zonk at 151 yards, and he's had a rushing touchdown in 4 straight games. Matt Snell on 155. The New York Jets are starting to win football games. I notice I didn't say they're great. Roethlisberger, a touchdown pass in all of his games. He's looking good. Denver now, John Elway with all these marks, but they ended up losing. Atlanta 98, they're an underrated team. New York Giants, solid. Phil Simms, 110 passes without an interception. At Cleveland, oh, look at this. 86 Cleveland special teams have scored in 3 straight games. That's a gigantic thing. And of course, the 84 49ers and 71 Dallas is big. So now taking a look at week number 6. Week number 6, The schedule, you see undefeated Buffalo at Philadelphia. That's a good one. Look at 82 Washington and 58 Baltimore. Look at Houston and Baltimore, 2 4-1 teams. We might have that one to see how good Houston is. You know, that's 85 Chicago against the 06 San Diego Chargers. 86 Denver fresh off their upset. Oh, if they win, they'd be 2-3-1 and back into it. Same with Miami. Who's next? The Chargers against the Chiefs. Baltimore against San Diego. Dallas against New York, a big rivalry. Detroit against Oakland. And the Steelers against Carolina. Well, that's game number 1. The Steelers is 78 against Carolina. That could be big. But still, I think the 2 4-1 teams, Houston and Baltimore, we haven't had them yet. So we got to take a look. The second 16, you have New York and Cincinnati. That could be a big one. Chicago, Minnesota, and Tampa Bay. Maybe 3 points will win that one, and I'm talking about 3-0. Pittsburgh and Dallas. Pittsburgh trying to pick up a win there. Cleveland against Cleveland, the Cleveland Derby, and LA and Dallas. How about New Orleans how about the Saints and the Giants? That is going to be a solid game. We're getting some really solid games. So this is, that's a solid game. I think that's going to be the game of the day. The 49ers against Chicago. You're looking down at the other teams. Denver and Green Bay. Now that's going to be a very good football game, but I don't see it beating out what how about Houston and LA of the same year? We might as well play the 79 recreation there. But I got to, that second game, you're looking at a heck of a football game between New Orleans and the Giants. These are two teams going for a championship. Like, seriously, they are right now playing for a championship. And that's going to be big. So now the last part, you have the Steelers and the Packers. And Peyton Manning against 80 Philadelphia trying to get back into it. Denver, San Diego at 2-1-2. They're trying to get a win and go 3-1-2. They want to get one of the first 4 slots. How about Cincinnati of 81 now at 4-1? How about the Steelers against the 94 49ers? And the Steelers of 08 trying to get in. Dallas and Pittsburgh. Look at that. That's that rivalry, the Steeler rivalry. Miami and New York and Houston. That could be a good one. Green Bay and Minnesota. That might be one where we get to see the Minnesota Vikings. Atlanta playing their derby. Notice the different helmet with the red and the falcon. The New England Patriots against Minnesota. Cleveland against 2000 New York. That'll be an interesting one. But I think I'm going to go probably with something up here. Probably Minnesota and Green Bay of 2010. I mean, those are two teams. If Green Bay goes 5-1, that's going to be big. So that's it. That's week number 5. And we went over everything. Watch out for week number 6. What a day.